imagine. A documentary about Lewis and Clark. This is that documentary. In the early 1800s, a group of explorers set out. They changed history. They were a major turning point in history, laying out the route for many pioneers to come. They gave the U.S. many useful specimens. The world was never the same, all because of a band of explorers. This 10-minute documentary will also go over the Oregon Trail and what it was like on the trail. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rough journey over the mountains, plains, prairies, and desert. In the hot August summer of 1802, Meriwether Lewis and Thomas Jefferson sat side by side in Jefferson's study in Monticello. They were reading. Jefferson suddenly stood. He was reading a book that said finding a route to the Pacific was near impossible. Lewis and Jefferson took that as a challenge. It was only a matter of time. On April 30th, 1803, Thomas Jefferson sealed the deal, buying all of the Louisiana Territory. On July 4th, 1803, Jefferson announced to the public that he had done the Louisiana Purchase. President Thomas Jefferson had bought a great deal of land for less than 3 cents an acre. Jefferson let his trusted secretary Lewis lead this expedition. Lewis chose a man he knew to help, William Clark. Clark was a man in the military, and they both grew up in Virginia, though they were not close. By October 1803, they were ready to pick people for the expedition, having gotten supplies ready and preparing for the long journey ahead in March. By May 13th of 1804, the expedition was about ready to push off of St. Louis, just waiting on some technical difficulties. On May 14th, it was found out that a few of the men had snuck out and gotten whiskey. When they got back to camp, a mini court was formed. The men were found guilty and given lashes. By May 22nd, they were finally on their way. On June 26th, the Corps of Discovery, that is the Lewis and Clark crew, had reached 400 river miles. On September 23rd, they met with the Teton Sioux. They had orders to try and be peaceful, so they gave the chiefs and tribe leaders medals, a coat, and a hat. This is what they were to give all Native American tribes. The Teton Sioux, however, were not satisfied. To try to satisfy them, the captains also gave them some whiskey. It seemed to be a bad choice, however, because the natives got even more rowdy. On October 24th, about a month later, they met the Mandan. The Mandan had wooden frame lodges that were packed with dirt, which were great insulation. Lewis and Clark happened to stay with the Mandan and their relatives, the Hidatsa. On November 4th, they met a fur trapper by the name of Charbonneau. He was married to a Native American woman by the name of Sacagawea. They hired both of them, and Sacagawea would soon become invaluable to the expedition. On April 17th, 1805, after a long winter, the expedition shoved off into the Missouri River. On August 13th, Lewis found the Shoshone. Their chief's name was Camoite. When Lewis and Clark caught up, Sacagawea was overjoyed. Camoite was her brother. The deal of trading for horses was instantly easier. The Corps of Discovery needed to trade for horses so they could cross the mountains. Before the deal was sealed, Sacagawea overheard her brother saying that he would take the trade back and take the tribe hunting instead. She told Lewis and Clark, and when they confronted Camoite, he was ashamed and traded them their horses. After a long couple of months through the mountains, Clark was able to make contact with the Nez Perce. They helped them through the rest of the mountains. On November 7th, Clark cried, "Ocean in view! Oh, the joy!" They were so close. On November 18th, they were on the coast. There was great salt which the group had not had in a while. As much joy as there were, they had a lot of work to get done, getting salt and building a fort. On December 30th, Fort Clapstop was finished. After another long winter, the group was ready to head home. On March 23rd, the Corps of Discovery left Fort Clapstop. The return trip wasn't as eventful. On April 11th, though, Lewis's dog, Seaman, which was with them the entire time, had gotten stolen by some sour Native Americans. They were able to get him back, though. Lewis was shot on August 11th on a hunting trip. He would recover. On October 24th, 1806, Thomas Jefferson received Lewis's report. This could be considered to be the end of the expedition. Thomas Jefferson was relieved. He and a lot of others had thought the Corps of Discovery was dead. In the end, Jefferson ended up with invaluable research and specimens. The USA gained pretty good relationships with native tribes. In the long run, pioneers would go west using Lewis and Clark's maps in the 1830s. It would be dangerous. You could die by snake bites, broken bones, getting run over by wagon wheels, drowning, dysentery, cholera, mumps, the flu, measles, fire, or even by frostbite. River crossings are the most dangerous, from the current to the depth. There were about 10 deaths per mile, and about 1 in 10 pioneers died. They had to cross prairies, deserts, rivers, plains, and mountains. If you were lucky, you would get 20 miles in a day. In covered wagons, people called prairie schooners because they looked like boats that were called schooners. 1 in every 250 pioneers kept written records, which makes it very hard today to find them. In the account of a boy, his cousin died because her nightgown sash hung her when she accidentally slid out of the wagon while sleeping. He also said that when a family lost everything to a river crossing, everyone pitched in and gave them supplies. On the prairie, there was no wood for fire. You had to find buffalo chips to cook things. From the main jumping point, Independence, Missouri, to Oregon, it was over 2,000 miles. More than 400,000 people moved west each night. There was lots of fiddling and dancing. People would use oxen or mules to cross the trail. A group of people called the Latter-day Saints would travel the trail and found a city they called Salt Lake City. In 1849, gold was found in California. Even more people flocked to the trail, but took a slightly different path, though not very many people would create lasting wealth. Now you can see why Lewis and Clark are so important. Without them, we would be a different nation. Taking everything into account, some might say that it was not worth it. I think it is. There was only 1 death in the entire Corps of Discovery, and we gained more than we lost. Even if there were hardships, it was all right in the end. Lewis and Clark had done the impossible. They had created a path to the west, without planes, trains, or even automobiles. Thank you all.